Hello everyone, I hope you guys are having a fabulous day. And if you're not, well, you know what? Listening to this will not make it better. But every podcast I try to do, I try to bring some kind of hope. And this one is another survivor story, but this one has a lot of twists and turns. Disclaimer, I'm going to be talking about physical violence towards women. I'm also going to be talking about sexual assault and violence. And I'm going to be talking about a serial killer. Back in the 1990s, even though this killer killed 2 women, he raped quite a few. And this piece of crap was so brazen, it was unbelievable, the guts this creep had. I'm going to do a disclaimer as well that I do not like to speak about people, to say what kind of color they are, whether you're white, black, Asian, I'm not very comfortable with that. But I may in this true crime, because we are dealing with a black serial killer, which is extremely rare because 9 times out of 10 it's creepy white dudes in their 20s and 30s, and that's the majority. So this one being a black serial killer in the 1990s, I had to talk about, especially the survivor who actually predicted her attack. So I'm going to be mainly talking about Adrienne Fields and what an amazing woman she is. So I'm just gonna I just want to say that I know people roll their eyes when I say stuff like that. Other podcasters told me that you can say black, white, you're talking about true crime, but I just want to let you know that I was not raised with treating people different with their color. I was born outside of Philadelphia, and my parents always just said, treat people how you want to be treated, and I didn't really see real racism until I was young and in the southern states. But how I feel is that I do not see color. You can laugh all you want, but I don't. I mean, I love you for who you are, and if you're a great person, then I'll love you even more, So we're just gonna now go into true crime talk, and enough about me. I'm just being selfish here. I apologize. Tonight's podcast is going to be about the BathTub killer from the 1990s, and I am representing Virginia with this really awesome Starbucks Virginia cup. It's one of my, feel-good purchases, because I want to know down the comments below, what is something that you purchase and it makes you feel better. And Bowie is trying to say hello. Okay. Bowie is my Sphinx cat, and if you are watching, he is right here. So, hello, baby. Hello. And if you are listening, yes, this is my Sphinx. This is Bowie, and he is a rambunctious boy, and he's my baby. Love him. And so this is clementine tea with honey, and I just love tea. So we're gonna start with that's great for the theme, guys. Tea time, true crime with Catie, where I am Catie, and let's talk about something horrific, but something amazing at the end. So stay tuned. Adrienne Fields, she was a postal worker in her early 20s, so she was making really good money, but she lived on her own as a single woman. So she heard about the attacks in the near apartments ahead, and the apartments where the attacks happened was Pear Tree Apartments, which I looked at them, I was thinking it was going to be kind of like a different side of town, because there is a lot of rapes that happens in Texas during this time. Dude, what the So Adrienne lives on her own, and she sees on television about this killer, literally called the BathTub killer on TV, and she is scared to death. She really believes you know, that she is going to be the next victim. And for a while, her, you know, her sister kind of calls her paranoid, and she is so scared, so scared. Adrienne actually leaves her apartment complex and moves into another one. Yeah, this girl, she tried. Sadly, she did become a victim of the bathtub killer. So that sucks. That is not good. Yeah, so let's rewind to his first victim. And what's weird about these is they were school teachers. Isn't that odd? That they were people of like, not the service industry, but the people who worked for the community. There was a police officer that was raped, a woman who was threatened. He knew her parents' phone number. He actually tried to steal her firearm. And of course, him saying her parents' address, she was scared to death. He did not take her gun because when you're a police officer and you're missing a firearm, you have to report that. So he did beat her, rape her, and wow, dude, this guy was so brazen. He also attacked a couple other girls in a sorority house, and he also attacked a few people in the apartment complex as well. Christine Vu, September 17th, 1996 was when Dale, yeah, he got her, guys. He got her bad. The bathtub killer / rapist, his name was Dale Chenette. And he absolutely, like, oh, so sad, raped and murdered Christine Vu in her Arlington apartment. She was found in her half-filled bathtub, lying nude and face down. Duct tape was wrapped around her hands, ankles, and neck. An autopsy later revealed that she had been raped, strangled, and drowned. The police also recovered foreign DNA from the murder scene, but it did not match anyone from this system. Christine's boyfriend at the time, Asian descent, as Christine Vu. And this is what's heartbreaking, you guys, is that he lived with her in the apartment, but he wasn't there at that time. And when he went to go into the apartment, he noticed the deadbolt was locked. He had keys to the apartment, but again, the deadbolt was locked, which is very weird because he's like, what is going on? So he figured, you know, maybe she's just in the shower. And what's heartbreaking is that he left the scene to go to a payphone, because this is 1996, you guys, to call her. And she did not pick up. When he got back to Christine's apartment, the door was unlocked. He got back to the apartment and sadly found his girlfriend, Christine Vu, in the horrible state that she was in. And he freaked out. He grabbed her, he took her out of the tub, you know, and then he like ran to the neighbors to call 911. To this day, the boyfriend, he has anger problems. For a long time, the family said that he changed after the death of his girlfriend, and he just became very angry. And spoiler alert, before we executed this SOB, he said that if he ever found her killer, that he was going to chop up his body limb from limb and then made him eat out of a straw. Okay, valid feelings there. And yeah, that is just the start of like the horribleness. So while the police were investigating Christine's murder, when they were alerted of another similar attack in the same apartment complex, Norman and Brenda Norwood were worried when their niece, Wendy Prescott, did not show up for a planned shopping trip. Norman went looking for his niece at her apartment and was met with a shocking scene. Now, sadly, the shopping trip, you guys, was Christmas shopping. And what's even more sad is that Wendy Prescott's mother was actually murdered when she was 3 years old. So Wendy always thought that she was going to be murdered as well. And she thought she was going to be murdered by her mother's killer. And sadly, to this day, this serial killer that murdered her mother in 1977 has never been caught. When Norman found Wendy Prescott's body, it was the same position as Christine Vu. Her wrists, ankles, and neck were tied together with duct tape, and an autopsy revealed that the victim had been subjected to rape and manual strangulation. The police immediately connected the two murders and figured out that it was a work of a serial killer. Because back in the 1990s, if you killed 2 or more, you were believed to be a serial killer. They were also able to collect sperm samples and lift a high-quality fingerprint from a television stand in Prescott's apartment, but no matches were found in law enforcement databases. After the initial murders, the BathTub killer laid low for a little over 2 years before resurfacing again in 1999. On February 23, 1999, Chima Benson, a student at the University of Texas in Arlington, was brutally attacked and raped in her sorority house. She actually managed to fight her attacker, but sadly, this led him to beating her severely and leaving her incapacitated on the bedroom floor. So it went like this. Chima, on a positive note, is alive. You go, girl. She's actually a television personality now. TV personality, and she's a journalist, and she was on Big Brother season 11. So you go, girl. That is a amazing like comeback. I mean, just maybe that was not the right word. You guys understand. So sadly, Chima was like chilling in their sorority house, and this monster comes to her with like a stocking on his head, you know, and he like ran towards her, and he, like it said, I told you, she was brutally raped. And after he was done with her, this son of a bitch, he took his penis out, and he was not circumcised, and he wanted oral sex from Chima after he did this horrible attack. And so you know what this girl did? She bit. I mean, she bit hard. And she, you know, got beaten really bad after that. But she did live, you guys, which is awesome. But which is awesome, again, is she fought and she left a mark. You go, Chima. So like I said, we're going to Adrienne Fields. So she is somebody who is just like, I don't want to say paranoid because that makes you sound crazy. It does, but she wasn't. She was right. Like, listen to yourself, man. So, okay. Adrienne actually worked hard. It's a given, right? Post office people, like, all props to you. I don't know how you do what you do. So, you're amazing. Next off, she also liked to party hard. You know what I'm saying? Like, she liked to go out with her girlfriends sometimes. So there was this club, right? And they would go to the club and hang out, and they did not know there was any connection. Yeah, guys, I'm going to make you real, like, really aware right now. So when I have to talk about this because this is so creepy, because Adrienne Fields went really into her attack. So she was scared to death. She moved from apartment to another apartment. Okay, her sister is kind of calling her crazy. I mean, she's not trying to, but she kind of is, saying like, "Come on, girl, nothing's gonna happen to you. Like, what you talking about? You know?" But she was wrong, because Adrienne Fields was attacked in the witching hour at 3 a.m. And what's sad is, right when Adrienne was like okay, it's been about a year, maybe a little over. I can finally like maybe relax. So she turns the lights off. She turns off the TV because she would make sure everything was on before she went to bed. This time though, she turned everything off. And then around 3 a.m., like I said, she's laying in bed and she turns over and she sees this man, okay? This black male that was either 5'10" to 6 foot. He was kind of stocky and he had a stocking over his head. And he literally comes running towards her and he jumps on top of her and he has a gun to her back underneath her. He's like, do you know what this is? And she did survive, you guys, which is amazing. But he basically was raping and attacking her. He was saying things like, you know, you are different from everyone else. Now, I was trying to do research on that, like, how is she different from everyone else? Well, when she got so scared that the serial killer would attack her, she looked into like what she can do to fend off his attack. But she also says it's very different from what you think you're going to do and then what you're actually going to do while it's happening, which valid. That's fair. Sorry. I'm going to drink some tea real quick. I need to. Whew. Oh yeah, that's awesome. Okay. So Adrian is trying to fend off the attack, but he threatens her, like, do not scream, do not do this, you know, just, and he's talking to her, you know, like, you know, you tell me you love me, you tell me I'm the best lover, you know, like this fucking egomaniac. And you know, she looks outside, she turns around after he's all done, and he's like, what are you looking at, Adrian? You know, and she's like, sorry. She says, sorry, let me start over. So she's looking out the window and he's like, what are you looking at? And she's like, oh, someone's going to come for me around, you know, and I just want to let you know, someone's on their way right now. And he's like, no one's coming for you, Adrian, which is scary because he knows her name now, which is beyond terrifying. He's like, nobody's coming for you, Adrian, and not at this time of night. And no one ever comes to see you. And I can't imagine the dread, like, in your soul feeling that. But she was asking him questions during it. Like, you know, what makes you do this? What did I do to deserve this, you know? And then, you know, she humanized herself. And she was praying because I don't know, she's very Christian and she's very into her beliefs and God, and she was praying while he was attacking her, and she was like, after he was done, she was like, I'll give you 10 minutes before I call the police. And then Dale, okay, we're gonna call him Dale Shanette, sorry. Dale actually was like, okay, you said 10 minutes, which is shocking. And then he left. He left the bedroom. She locked it and she called 911 immediately. Yeah, insane, right? I would be so horrified. First of all, I'm horrified anyone is in my room that is not welcomed. And then you know my name? Oh my, that is like fucking scary, like nightmare fuel. But don't worry, I'll tell you how these, I don't like to say victims, but these women are connected. And it is wild, y'all. So, Adrian survived, and the, you know, dick biter, you go girl, TV personality, she is alive. Shema, she is, wow, man, that's, whew, you got guts, girl. I am so proud of you. Anyway, they collect DNA found, sadly, inside of them. but they run it again and there's nobody in the database. What's wild about this case is that there is like apparently a few more women. Like, I'm trying to figure out what the police officer, her name was. I'm sure she doesn't want to be known. But yeah, this guy was brazen. What's unreal is that when you are a killer or a serial killer, you start with rape and you escalate. Okay, you escalate. But Dale did it backwards. He murdered 2 people and then like raped the others and let them live. Isn't that wild? I don't know. That's just so wild. So poor Adrian and, the amazing survivors. So Adrian's at the club, right? And, her friends are like, just go out. You haven't been out in months. Like, you should just go. And she went to this club that was not far from her apartment. And literally, you guys, I shit you not, she was like, yo, we need to leave. And her girlfriends are like, what are you talking about? She goes, the man who raped me is here. I can feel him. I can feel his presence. And I know she sounds like crazy town, but for me, no, you always go with your gut. He was the bouncer at the club. So this piece of crap, human, okay, would check the girls' IDs, all right? But he had a photographic memory. So he would memorize the addresses and then he would stalk each victim, each woman, okay? And it doesn't matter, but these were women of color, women of minority, it just doesn't matter. They're still women. They're women, okay? And this creepazoid memorized their addresses, watched their every move, watched their routine. That is like horrifying. And that's very rare in the FBI database. For he was lightly black-skinned. He referred to himself as Cajun. He was born in Louisiana. So, yeah, I didn't want to, but I was curious. I looked into when he was a child. He actually is kind of short for a male. And for when he was a kid, he had a very high voice. Yeah, I'm sure he was ridiculed a lot. But then after that, things changed. And he also became like, he went into boxing. So he was like a weightlift champion. Like, I was like, oh my God. So I listened to a lot of podcasts about this. And they kept saying every single woman / victim, there was no forced entry. And what that means is there was no evidence of a door breaking down, smashing windows. But then when I watched certain documentaries and investigation discoveries, I found out how he got in. This son of a bitch. He would go through the windows. He would watch you sleep. He would literally just watch you sleep, and then he would plan his attack. He would get a knife and cut through the screen. And back in the 90s in Texas, I lived there a long time ago, and it gets hot as balls. Like, it is hot, hot, hot. And these attacks happen from like the fall to around Christmas time. But still, Texas is very hot, so I'm sure the women had the windows just a little bit cracked. And this psycho got a knife and cut the screen. And every time when they would hear the swish, swish, swish sound, that was someone walking in their room and then running towards them with a pantyhose on their head. So these women who survived, he beat Shimra, the one who the one who bit him and left a mark. She had to reconstruct, I don't know if it was her face, but she had reconstructive surgery twice. He was completely brazen and just hatred of women, because these attacks, you guys, are so brutal. One girl was hit so hard that they had to fix her eye because it was like sunken in. Like, dude, what rage do you have towards women? Like, I just don't, especially in the, African American, Black community. Like, what is your problem, dude? But it is scary that Wendy Prescott and Christina Vu they were both teachers. And they were said to be amazing, amazing women. And people loved them so much. In fact, each victim that he attacked were actually very known, sweet, kind people. Yeah, I know. This mother. Adrian was like, she was so smart and just talking to him in like a calm voice, and she's like, why are you doing this? Like, God. And she got to him because he let her live. And, and he said something like, the devil's making me do it, or something like that. We do not claim that negativity here. We do not claim that energy, you guys, which is scary in itself. But I have to say, good news though, I would never want to, yay, someone died. But he's executed. He is gone. He is gone. We, Texas, okay, we're pretending we're Texas right now. The death sentence was handed over in 2003 in the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals, affirmed the conviction and sentence in September 2004. Jeanette tried to delay his execution by flooding the courts with late appeals, claiming his rights were violated and that he was subjected to an unfair trial. Okay, I'm just going to tell you right now. They had his fingerprints. They had his semen. And you're probably like, well, how did he get caught then if he wasn't in the system? Let me feed you baby birds. Because he literally, it was a botched robbery. Yeah, botched robbery. It doesn't say where. It could have been a Radio Shack. Remember those? Yeah. So when it was just a stupid blunder. He went to go rob this store and left his fingerprints. And then when they fingerprinted it and the DNA and everything, bam, he was in finally the system because of that stupid mistake, which I'm so glad you did, or we never would have caught you, you son of a horrible man. I mean, who knows? Maybe his dad was horrible. Who knows? But who cares? I don't care about him. Whatever. I'm really praising the women who survived, and of course the women who didn't survive. I send you amazing energy, and I am so sorry, because to this day in 2003, even though the guy is gone, families still want answers, and they still miss their loved ones. I'm sure that will never go away. Okay, so Dale was finally put to death February 10th, 2009. Yeah, with lethal injection. This is what's insane, you guys. Plot twist. That was the same day Adrian Fields, yeah, that queen right there, the really spiritual Christian one, yeah, that was her birthday. What a birthday present that was. I mean, sorry, again, that's kind of cruel. Now his last statement before he had the needle in his arms was, "My only statement is that no cases ever tried have been error-free. Those are my words. No cases are error-free." Adrian, for a long time, even after his death, after the attack, it's just been not smooth sailing. She has suffered depression. She's actually suffered survivor's guilt, I'm sure PTSD, but she turned around in 2015. She became a minister, and she has an advocacy, something called Rip the Band-Aid Off, and basically saying don't let anything that's happened to you control you. You know, she's really helping other women of domestic abuse or any abuse at all, any violence. And yeah, that is the horrible bathtub killer. Yeah, Dale, he is, I don't want him to rest in peace. But we do not want the negative energy. It is kind of really sad though, because he was only 35 years old when he was executed. So like, what happened in your life, dude, to like really make you hate women? Like, that's, you know, again, this is my opinion. Okay, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a police officer. This is just Catie land. And I'm so happy that you're here with me. Let me know what you guys think about this case in the bottom below. Definitely makes you scared to go to the club. Definitely. And also just want to say that there is always, I feel like, hope in any situation, and amazing women like Chimra and Adrian and quite a few others that are not really listed. If they are listed, please let me down in the comments below and educate me, enlighten me. But I just want to say, women as a whole who have been affected by this horrific crime, you're amazing. You're queens, always. And yeah, it's just a really sad story. And definitely gave me nightmares. 100%. I'm going to do a couple tips for you. I found out some tips. This is something new, and I have to share it. So this may sound silly, but maybe I might save a life. So here we go. Number one, if you are a single female or you're at home, and you know, which is no problem. You don't always have to be in a relationship to feel whole. Just letting you know. That's my TED Talk, okay? You are your own person. Tip number one, when you are out hiking and you may be lost, you're at, you know, a place that you don't know, but you have your phone and it's slowly dying. Now, yes, that's scary. But one thing you can totally do before your phone dies is change the voicemail. Say, hi, this is so-and-so, I'm lost in the woods, and just name landmarks close around you, and I know you will be saved way more earlier than you think. Isn't that great? Yeah, that's a great idea. Number two, another great tip is get work boots. Like, you don't have to buy them. You can maybe steal your ex-boyfriend's. Who cares? Sorry. Expensive utility boots, and just roughen them up. I mean, really roughen them up. Like, it is rugged. And then soak them in mud. And then put them outside of your doorstep, whether you're an apartment, whether you're a home. And someone said, well, what happens if HOA says something? Well, then you have a personal meeting and tell them, this is my safety. So if you want to jeopardize that, that is on you. And 9 times out of 10, I don't think your apartment complex wants you in any harm's way at all, you know? Because after these attacks happen, you guys, so many people moved out of Pear Tree Apartments and Grand Prairie, which was the one where Adrian Fields ended up, but she was sadly still attacked. Dale did live in one of those apartment complexes, but of course he found out the women's information by checking IDs at the club and stalking them for who knows how long, weeks, months. Yeah. So yeah, that was tip number 2. Definitely have utility boots. Make it look like there is a male presence in your home, because yes, there may be stalkers, but they literally cannot watch you 24/7. They can't. They can't, because they have to go to the bathroom, they have to eat, you know, just normal human stuff, okay? So I saw that and I was like, that is a great friggin' idea. Same thing when you're going on hiking with your girlfriends, and have utility boots outside the tent. Make it look like there's a male presence there, because these creeps think you're alone and they can overpower you, but we don't claim that energy and we don't want that to happen, okay? Thank you so much for listening, you guys. Let me know what you think about the comments below, and if you have any other survivor safety techniques, please let me know in the comments below. Please, please stay safe. I really, really appreciate you guys listening or watching. It means the world to me. And follow me on my socials. Like, subscribe, share with your friends. Positive feedback, negative feedback, doesn't matter. I just really appreciate you guys being here on my true crime journey, which one day I will tell. One day. I'm not ready to go there yet. But stay safe, and remember, you're doing better than you think. Bye, guys. Until next time.